I like to move it around. Just keep you guessing.
Is it so? Wait, how do you know if it's right though? Because it's not on a wall. So if you just bumped into it, it would change the time.
That's the adventure.
In fact, your clock seems about 1 minute fast from this angle.
Yeah, you better just roll it a tiny bit there.
Just a little bit. All right, we're broadcasting. I'm going to start recording.
I should open the chat.
You could do that. And then I'm going to social us. Oops, that's the wrong button.
I don't have Lime Chat installed on this computer. That's okay.
I still just use the web page. I'm super lazy.
Whoa.
Right. Socialing. All the places. Done.
Did you post it on app.net?
Let me get back to you on that.
We don't still have things auto-posted, do we?
Let's circle back.
I hope we do. Let's hexagon back on that.
There's a link to it right on the front page. 1.29 thousand followers on WhatsApp.
That's one of those Android Police inside jokes. It's not funny, but it is. It's not funny though. Don't ever talk about app.net.
App.net.
Our last post was 6 days ago, guys.
Wow.
On app.net?
Yeah.
What happened 6 days ago that it stopped working?
I don't know.
Something terrible.
But that's
maybe
the
Deliver
reality.
It stopped supporting it or something.
That would be hilarious. I mean, not hilarious.
That's
Sorry,
the sort of
app.net.
thing that they could just do quietly and not tell
Oh no,
anybody.
that would be hilarious to me because I would love to hear Artem complain that Deliver It no longer supports app.net. That would be the best.
You could just tell him
Everyone's
that
starting
happened.
this issue.
Ping at everyone. Everyone needs to post to app.net manually now until this is fixed.
I would just like to point
This is
out.
too real.
Until it's fixed or app.net goes away, whichever happens first.
Thinking him right now.
I'd like to point out that I've been doing this show for 4 years, and this is the first I ever even knew that there was an app.net.
And it's the only time you ever need to know.
Good. Ping
And
Artem
holy
18
shit, I've been
times.
doing this show for 4 years.
Has it been 4 years that this podcast has been on?
Yeah.
What year did it start?
I mean, you got to think we do a show a week, and we're at episode 205.
I thought it was longer than that.
It's slightly longer, I think.
It was slightly longer. It was I think the first show was February of 2012.
Yeah, we had some beta episodes
That's
that were subject to Artem scrutiny, after which he decided he no longer wanted to listen to the podcast.
He never listened again.
He's so
Which is
weird
really-
about podcast things. I don't get him.
I feel like he doesn't support us.
It's fine. All right.
Well, you've done the podcast from his house, and he wouldn't come anywhere near the camera. So.
Yes, that was always good too. Oh boy. All right. I'm trying to join the chat room, and I guess otherwise we're ready to go. We don't actually need to wait for me to join the chat room. That's stupid.
we can't start the show until you do.
AP David has joined. We're ready.
All right, we're ready. Welcome to the Android Police Podcast, your weekly audio source for all things Android. It is Thursday, Cinco de Mayo, 2016. I'm your host, Matthew Smith.
I'm David Ruddick.
I'm Liam Spradlin.
I'm Ryan Whitwam.
Cinco de Mayo, guys.
Yeah, the really racist part of me just wanted chips and guacamole, and I feel really bad about that now. Especially did you guys see Donald Trump put on Twitter today?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually,
I love Hispanics. Like, I think he's
didn't-
just trolling everybody with that tweet. It's the most hilarious thing.
I love
see
the
it at first.
response that said, "You even put a wall around your Mexican food."
Oh my god. I didn't see it at first because I had him blocked on Twitter.
I mean, well, there are
You
links.
specifically blocked him on Twitter.
If
Yes, I
anybody
did.
listening to this is confused about what the hell we're talking about, Donald Trump posted like we should be talking about this, whatever. He posted a tweet of himself eating a taco bowl, and he's like, the best taco bowls in the world are made at whatever Trump Tower restaurant. I love Hispanics. Just
Like
the
literally, that's what happened.
It's
So that
the
was
most insane thing.
happy Cinco de Mayo, everybody.
Happy Cinco de Mayo. Well, hey, coming up later this month, we have something that's more relative to the general subject matter of the show. The event known as Google I/O 2016, starting on May 18th. But we're hearing some news coming out about some potential hardware that we might be seeing announced at Google I/O, or maybe a little bit later. They've kind of disassociated Google I/O with Nexus launches in years past, so who knows when it'll be coming out. But apparently 2 new Nexuses coming this year, both from HTC, the M1 and the S1. So what are we thinking we know about this so far?
And not much. There's 2 of them, probably made by HTC. One of them probably has a 5-inch screen. And the old code names were T50 and T55, so there is some presumptive hypothesizing that that's 5 and 5.5 inches respectively.
Is 5 and 5.5 inches respectively a big enough difference to warrant 2 different phones?
I imagine the smaller one will be lower spec as well.
That makes sense.
Which will upset small phone people.
Well, it will.
Small
and
phone
Donald Trump with his little hands.
Like
But,
small phone people, they're like tiny humanoid smartphones.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was getting at.
So I don't think these are going to be in Google. I mean, they could be. I could be totally wrong. I'm guessing they won't be. I'm guessing that Google will save the unveiling of these until Android N is very close to being done.
There might be some floating around. Who knows?
Floating around through the air.
When was the last time they actually announced a Nexus phone at Google I/O anyways? Was that
2013? Maybe?
Was it at Google
been a
I/O?
while.
2013 would have been the Nexus 4, right?
It would be
No,
the
that was
Nexus
2012. Yeah, the Nexus 5 was announced in the fall.
Yeah, so that was an I/O. It was when Google kind of coincided with the new Android version announcement. That's what the Nexus phone did. They had the press conference say, it's a new version of Android, and here's what's going to run it.
Yeah,
And-
I don't think that there's been a Nexus announcement at I/O since the Nexus 7, the original one, right?
Right. I think you're right.
Yeah, we had the
Was it
the
the
Moto
next-
360 was announced at I/O. That was probably the last major.
Wait, the 360 wasn't.
Don't forget the Gear Live.
Oh no, it wasn't announced there. It was the first time anybody saw it in person.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, I
it was,
wrong about that, yeah.
Yeah, they announced the Gear Live and the G Watch.
Yeah, we knew that the G Watch was going to exist, though. That was announced when Android Wear was pre-announced, along with the
Yeah.
Moto 360.
Yeah.
The I/O has not been a place for hardware announcements lately.
I think there will be a hardware announcement this year. It just won't be a phone or a tablet.
Yeah,
So-
the VR headset we keep hearing rumors about.
Virtual reality.
Perhaps a new Tango as well.
Could be a new Tango. Although Lenovo is
Maybe-
working
maybe-
on a Tango phone
Maybe
already.
they will be the same thing.
Maybe.
I kind of doubt that. But Lenovo's already working on a Tango phone.
A Tango phone, yeah.
Have we ever figured out who gets excited about Tango? I mean,
Nobody does. I mean, there's probably some developers out there who are very excited about it, but they don't
Look,
have
I
any
mean,
users to be excited with them.
It would be very nice to have Tango stuff built into a phone, but I don't want to buy a phone specifically because it does Tango stuff.
But also,
It would be fine to have those sensors and everything. I'm not too.
I
so
feel
what
like-
would you do with that?
I feel like Tango is not a consumer
knows?
product.
It's not. It's mostly it's very niche application, and the whole thing with Tango is like developing these AR and potentially VR experiences. But it seems that like Google kind of got to this point where they thought, okay, VR is going to be a thing. We should have tools to help people make VR AR content before the VR stuff. But then everybody's like, why are you building this Tango? What does it do? Why do I need this? It was never clear. Why do I need a pocket brick?
It has been a really long time since they started talking about this. Even for Google, it's been a long time
Wasn't
from
like-
announcement to like actually having a thing people can buy.
Isn't it 2 years? Like, aren't we on 2 years at this point?
I think so, just about, because the first Tango devices ran Tegra 4 chips, and that's a couple generations old at this point.
Wasn't God? I feel like didn't Intel announce something with Tango too? Am I making that up? I'm making that up. I think. Okay, never mind. So somebody points out that the Cheese O, a name I appreciate, points out that Nexus player is sold out most places. Would we see a new Android TV?
I don't know if Google even wants to do that though. I mean,
I don't think they do.
It was not a good first attempt. Android TV is like a really weird platform because like there's a use case for it. Like everybody has TVs and they want to put things on them, but like the hardware has not been great. Really, the only Android TV box worth having is the Shield, and it's kind of expensive.
And it's kind of still not amazing. It's an Android TV and it's reasonably fast.
Well, and you still
most of the deal.
So you still see announcements, and I'll mention this one because we posted it on the site. The Logitech Harmony television app, which, you know, the fact that I'm using my Logitech Harmony to turn on my television to access the Logitech Harmony app doesn't make any sense to me in the first place. But like that was announced this week, and it doesn't work on the Shield TV. It works on everything else, but not the Shield TV. So the fact that they've kind of got this high-end device that not everything works with until maybe later or something, it's just, I don't know, it just kind of feels like a mess to me.
I question smart TV devices in the same way that I question smartwatches.
I question them less than smartwatch. I can see why you want like a Roku. I can understand.
Yeah, a Roku makes sense because it is like
I actually don't.
It is like the bare bones is said. You don't even own a TV, Liam. You're not allowed to talk about this.
I used to. Okay, so
I used to own a television. I have authority.
So the funny thing is I'm literally the monitor that I'm doing the show with actually has a Roku streaming stick plugged into it.
I mean, Roku makes sense because
two of them, and I love
uses
them.
Like the channel analogy that people are familiar with. It tries to be like the easiest way to get people from like regular TV to smart TV stuff, and it's just, I mean, and they're cheap, and it makes sense. They make good products.
But I don't know. It may be the case that it's a better transition, but you're still like you're choosing what to watch. That's the purpose of the thing, but you're like removing the interface intentionally. Like you're putting it farther away from you than it would be on your phone or tablet or something.
Yes, but it's on a bigger screen with a full room experience where you can share it with other people instead of watching it by yourself.
Yeah, that's a big thing. So if you're doing it with other people, you can't do that on a phone. And that's how a lot lot of people consume
television. But does that justify an entire platform?
Yes, it does.
It does.
Look, when the platform...
Why can't you control a Chromecast from your tablet and see what you're selecting on screen?
But, okay, so like when a Roku stick costs $50, I think that's a reasonable investment to have like a world of streaming content on your TV. People that own TVs want this. Trust me.
Yes.
But I mean, personally, like I use a Chromecast way more than I use other streaming things because I always have a phone or a tablet handy. So that makes sense for me, and I think like a $30 Chromecast is just a really good deal. It does a lot.
I just feel like people are positing smart TVs as like the future of the living room. And I just don't think it's a long-term. I don't think it's the long-term answer at all.
I would like to clarify my point. I think smart TVs are stupid, but I think Rokus are sweet.
Oh yeah, no, like a TV that you buy that has a bunch of like smart junk built in that's going to be obsolete in 6 months is not good.
Well, even Android TV, like I just question why you need an entire like ecosystem that is specifically for your TV only.
I mean, I think to a certain extent you have to say that actually Chromecast is a smart TV. It just doesn't have a TV interface. I mean,
I guess that's true.
It just keeps all of the interface on your phone.
Yeah,
right.
And the other thing too is people do want this functionality because I mean, especially for example, if you own a gaming console, a lot of people use those as their smart TV kind of hub device, and so there's a space for this. I don't think Android TV has made a compelling case why it needs to be the platform you want to do this function.
No, I see that there's a case for it. I just don't think that it's I just don't think it's the answer
Yeah,
for the future.
like if I'm looking between Chromecast and Google and Android TV as a consumer with money and concerns about spending it, I'm gonna get a Chromecast, and I don't really care about Android TV. So I can get it from that sense because $35 versus $200 is not a hard question to answer.
Yeah, I wonder how NVIDIA's GeForce Now thing is doing.
I'm gonna guess not great. I mean, I played it a few times and I'm like, okay, but I'm a PC gamer, and so it's like for me, like, okay, this is kind of like PC gaming except a little suckier.
Yeah,
So,
I mean I used it for a while too, and I mean it's impressive for what it is. I think people who don't have a game console or a gaming PC, it could make some sense because you get to play, essentially the PC versions of games. But yeah, I mean it's not like the quality isn't as good as what you get on a gaming PC.
I feel like how much do you have to spend on a graphic card to even make that work?
I don't know. You could probably play most high-end games at 1080p with like a $200 card, I guess.
yeah, that's probably about right.
So I don't know. I feel like if somebody is going to have to, I don't know, if you've got to upgrade hardware, maybe you don't. Maybe most people. That's probably not a fair statement. Most people who want to do this probably don't need to upgrade their hardware. But like for me, it serves zero purpose because I'd have to spend as much money on hardware as I would on just buying an Xbox One.
This is different versus this is GeForce Now, which is just an IP-based, like remote streaming of a game that runs on NVIDIA's servers.
Yeah.
So you're just getting the call back from that, not your
I
PC. GeForce Game Stream is the one from your computer, and Game Stream is janky as hell. Unfortunately, when it works, it's good, but it doesn't usually work right. At least not in most games that aren't specifically optimized for
I've had okay luck with that. I haven't done it recently, but I mean, my computer and router and usually the TV that I played on are pretty close, so I don't really have any latency issues. But if your network is even the tiniest bit laggy, then I mean, it could even be slower than GeForce Now.
Yeah, I can. It really
just because of your local network latency between the computer and the router.
Yeah, I've definitely experienced that. So it's, the Shield TV thing, I don't know. It's still like I wouldn't buy one, because to me it's like, okay, if the idea is that you have this person who wants a smart TV and also likes game stuff but it doesn't maybe has a gaming PC, but then why would they want to play on the TV instead of the gaming PC? And I mean, it's going to be kind of a hard sell. And then the other part is with GeForce Now, it replaces your video game console, but like if you actually want to play games, you're going to buy a video game console because it has the games. It's such a weird I can admire the ambition of the product. It's just hard to find a niche.
I mean, what's the PS4 selling at now? Is it down to like 300-ish?
Oh, I don't even know.
They have seriously, eBay Daily Deals has them for like $300, $289.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the price difference between a Shield and a PS4 is not probably going to be sufficient for.
Yeah, actually, you can get a Star Wars Battlefront bundle that comes with Star Wars Battlefront and a few freebie chibi games with a 500 gig console for $415 on Amazon.
Or you can get the Call of Duty version for $350.
Yeah.
I feel like I should clarify that while I question whether Android TV is a real answer for what TVs should be, I do like the interface a lot. For what it is, I think it does it.
The interface is nice. I agree. It's pretty. It's so much prettier than Roku's. Roku's interface is.
Yeah, it's butt. Roku's look like butt.
But Roku, you know what? I will say we're getting on such a tangent on TVs here. My Roku ran for like 2 or 3 months at a time before I'd have to reboot it. Android TV's like once or twice a week. It's
I want to say I reboot. I have the original Roku streaming stick, and I want to say I reboot it like once every 4 or 5 months.
Yeah, I think probably I have a Shield TV in my office, and I would say every 3 to 4 days the Netflix app just disappears.
Yep.
And I have to reboot it, and I don't know why. It always comes back.
But mine always says, "Oh, could not connect. Please try again. Could not connect. Please try again." Or Plex just like farts and like it's done, and that's it. And then you got to reboot the stupid thing. Yeah. So Android TV, we can probably move on.
I was just going to say, I think that we all kind of agree that there's a low likelihood that this particular device, an Android TV device, is going to be announced at Google I/O. But I think what we've been seeing as far as some leaked screenshots about a new travel assistant app from Google that's coming out, hopefully in the near future, or presumably in the near future. I think it's a lot more likely we'll see that at Google I/O. So what do we know about that so far?
I think pretty much everything. It exists. We have the app.
Some of us are actually in the beta, but that's not where we got the app. Okay. It seems like it's interesting. I mean, it seems like Google wants to replace apps like TripIt, which like they kind of already had all of this information just scattered elsewhere. Kind of like so. So it's kind of like reminders. Like Google has this thing called reminders, and it's all over all of its products, but it doesn't really have a head. Like there's no app for it. It's just kind of a thing. And I think this is similar. Like trip information has always been in Google Now and Inbox. Now they're just giving it a front, basically.
I don't know if I'd actually use this. I mean, for somebody who travels a lot, maybe. But then again, if somebody travels a lot, why they probably don't need the trip information. Like they know what's up.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
Well,
I mean,
no, I'll tell you this as somebody who did. So I used to travel about 30 to 35 times a year for my job, and one of the things they're talking about this replacing BlackBerry Travel is actually an app that I used a lot before it was actually called BlackBerry Travel. I don't remember off the top of my head what it used to be called, but it like honestly, like this kind of stuff, just keep all your information in one place is huge for people who travel a lot. It is.
Yeah, I mean, especially like confirmation numbers and reservation addresses and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, if it does that, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, prior to that, I actually prior to that I had a folder, and not like a folder on my home screen of my phone, like an actual folder with pieces of paper in it.
Yeah,
so I don't know.
It's
a niche level thing, but for the people who want to use it, these types of things are really good. Now, whether they can do it better than somebody else who's been doing it for a while, that remains to be seen.
Yeah. So my thing is that Google Inbox especially is pretty very, very hit and miss about identifying things like addresses and confirmation numbers. Like for an Airbnb reservation, it's like you're staying at a cozy cottage. Isn't that nice? Where is it, Google?
It's a cozy cottage.
It's at the cozy cottage. Don't you know? It's on the fanciful lane.
It's on the corner of Cozy Street and Cottage Road.
Yeah. So I mean, in theory, it sounds nice, but Google's trip, identification algorithm still needs a little bit of tweaking, especially if it can't get Airbnb right. I mean, come on.
Yeah. I think it's a cool idea, though. The interface seems nice so far. They separate everything out into like reservations and things to do and whatnot. So cool.
Right, so next we've got an update to the Google OnHub router that, I want to say that this is what Ryan has been truly, deeply waiting for ever since he got his, but I know that this is kind of, I don't know, this doesn't feel like it's delivering quite on the promise.
No, it does not. I mean, this seems like maybe Google just sort of couldn't get the actual home automation stuff ready in time, so like, whatever, just put if this then that on it. That'll tide those jerks over. I should also point out the USB port still does not work, which I'm not okay with. But yeah, so if this then that, which apparently they intend for you to pronounce ift is apparently what they I was not aware of this. But at any rate, that now exists on the Google OnHub. There's a channel. If you go to the ift website, you can log into your account and you can add OnHub to your recipes. It is very, very limited right now, though. It's basically all based on devices connecting and disconnecting. So that's like the if part. Like if whatever device you want to pick connects, then you can have something else happen. You can trigger some other channel or action or whatever. And the same thing, vice versa. And then the trigger for OnHub that you have is prioritizing a device. So you can start that with whatever other service you want, and then have that prioritize the device. There are limited applications for this. I suppose if you really wanted to prioritize a device with a button, like you can use their IFT button app, whatever they call that, and just create a little button on your watch. Yeah, whatever. So yeah, you can like create like a button on your Android Wear watch to prioritize like your streaming box or whatever if you have crappy bandwidth at home. I guess it's nice that it exists. I wish that they were actually using the home automation stuff that we know that these radios exist in the OnHub, and they're just not doing anything yet.
It seems. I think the biggest reason why it's disappointing to me is like it seems like they're not doing anything that any single other device could do.
Yeah, you could do this with any router if the manufacturer wanted to. There's nothing unique about the hardware that enables this that I'm aware of. This is just. It seems like the development of the OnHub has just been so very, very slow, and they at least, if not promised, they at least implied that it was going to change, rapidly as after you bought it, and that has not happened yet. Although I will add that finally in this update you can see live traffic usage for wired devices, which was not possible before for some reason. So that's nice for me, I guess. Neat. Because my desktop is tethered, wired directly into the router, so I couldn't see traffic on that before, but now I can, so that's cool.
I wonder how much of this is just related to apparently the whole Nest division being a giant mess.
OnHub is completely inside Google, right?
Yeah, but I'm guessing that the Nest division was probably a big part of the hopeful integration for this product.
That's probably true. Yeah.
And there isn't any, right? Like it doesn't do anything with Nest stuff.
No, now that there's IFT support, technically there are Nest channels, but it doesn't do anything directly. No.
Yeah, and that would be my guess. If they wanted this to be a smart home hub, they would probably say, "Oh, wait, we have smart home products. Maybe those should work with it." And there's been a couple reports now about things at the Nest division being bad, and now that Rick Osterloh is coming in to lead up the hardware stuff at Google, Tony Fadell apparently has lost his, his high-ranking title as leader of, all things hardware at the Nest portion of the company.
To be fair, the stories that are coming out of Nest about how that train wreck is going down are pretty damning of Tony Fadell. So,
but he's still the CEO of Nest. But he's only an advisor on Google's hardware division now because Nest is like a separate company.
Yeah. Can I spread a vicious rumor?
Yes.
A hearsay. So I know somebody who their family member, I will not specify, lives very nearby to Tony Fadell and apparently knows him, and says that he does not spend a lot of time in the country. He spends a lot of time traveling and doesn't really pay attention to the things at Nest anymore. He's basically just there enough to screw things up.
It's almost like when Google buys a company, the people who run the company kind of become, disenchanted with the fact that they're now owned by Google.
And then they realize, hey, I've got a lot of money.
Yeah, I've got a lot of money and a few sick days, so yeah, poor Nest. Yeah, I feel like OnHub was probably destined to be kind of the partner product to what Nest was doing, and it sounds like there's been one of the stories was that Nest is just having a hard time creating a new compelling product of any kind, and
that's the problem with every home automation company is what are they making that anybody really needs? Does anybody need a smart door lock? That sounds like way more trouble than just using a regular door lock.
Exactly.
Yes, that's
in order to illustrate that point, I'm going to point out that right here I have a SmartThings hub that is in a box. It has been in this box since I got it. It has never left the box until just now when it almost fell out. And I don't know what the hell I'm going to do with it. I just have it. It's just here.
Smart home is one of those things like that, everybody's like, oh, the Jetsons, and then it's like, oh, wait, it's like configuring all my home network 20 times.
But none of the things understand each other natively, so I have to go through all this junk just to make two things talk to each other, and the value that I get from that is so minimal that I would have rather just had a beer.
The Jetsons didn't have to set all of that up. either.
Yeah, really.
And when it comes down to it, a light switch it really isn't really that hard to work. So
Yeah. You're not going to make something much easier than a light switch, so it's going to be a tough
sell. All I can think of, especially if somebody installs a touch screen in their home, I'm like, oh my god, that touch screen is going to look awful in 5 years. The display glass is going to get scratched up and it's going to yellow, and then the resolution won't be high enough for the latest firmware version of your stupid smart light bulb.
It'll look old.
Well, and the LEDs inside of it are only rated for a certain number of hours, so as time goes on, they just get dimmer and dimmer and dimmer until you can't use it anymore.
Yeah, it's the smart home to me is a very it's an experiment, and if you want to participate in the experiment, that's cool, but it's an experiment.
Yeah, this is not going to be a well-received thing to say, but what smart home kind of needs is somebody like Apple to come along and say, look, this is how you do it. And
well, actually, they have HomeKit, and nothing has what has really happened.
Yeah, it's almost like it's kind of hard to make a smart home compelling. And so
it's just like Ryan was saying, it's hard to make something that is easier than a light switch and is so easy to set up, in fact, and makes your life so convenient that you're willing to go through the process to set it up, at least right now.
Yeah, I mean, even the limited stuff they're doing with the OnHub, why would I want to go through all this hassle to automate something like getting priority on my router? That's not a thing any normal human being wants to do.
So let me ask you this: if your phone or your tablet or whatever your mobile device is of choice could just talk directly to these devices, do you think that would be more compelling?
You still have to install them, right?
Well, sure.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the other thing about smart home things is it's not like a phone where you just take it out of the box and put it in your pocket and you're good to go. You have to have these things installed in your house by people who know what they're doing oftentimes.
There are wires involved.
Yeah, and it's just convincing people to jump into an ecosystem where they're going to have to spend time and money figuring things like that out is a very tough sell.
Also, am I wrong in saying that electrical wiring done by an electrician is probably more reliable than a Wi-Fi network?
Probably any wire is more reliable.
Wires tend to be significantly more reliable than not
wires. Okay.
And the thing about the OnHub is even if your network is functioning and everything is connected, if you lose internet access, the OnHub does essentially zero things. The app doesn't even work, which leads me to wonder what would happen if you have your home automation things working with the OnHub and you lose internet access. Does everything just stop working?
All of your doors fling open and lights turn on.
The thermostat defaults to 130 degrees and
damn it, Google, it's purge night.
Yeah, so look, smart home stuff, it's pretty messed up. And I think we were talking about the OnHub originally, so that
we were.
You might call the OnHub a Nexus.
Oh, you might.
You
might.
They should have just used the Nexus branding on it.
They should have called it the Pixel. They should have called it the Pixel.
Oh yeah, because really, the Nexus trademark should be "We tried."
It could be the Pixel Tube.
Hey, speaking of "We tried" Nexuses, the Nexus. So I think the Nexus 9 fits pretty well into that category. We tried.
I don't know. Well, I don't want to be too mean.
Did they try?
I'm gonna need some proof that they actually tried because it did not feel like a very good attempt. And we were just talking about HTC maybe making new Nexus phones, which people are excited about, but their last contribution to the Nexus program was not good.
Okay.
Did the LTE version of the Nexus 9 ever come out?
Yeah, it did. It was I think it was only a month late.
Remember the sand-colored one?
Yeah, that was it was like flesh tone.
Yes.
But I just want to say, the design of the Nexus 9 was good. As good as the
Nexus 9 was listen, guys,
the Nexus 9 was just a big Nexus 5.
Exactly.
I mean,
somebody took a rolling pin to a Nexus 5 and stretched it out.
Part of the problem is that we were all so amped for this tablet when it was announced. Yeah. We were like, yes, a 4x3 Nexus tablet. This is going to be great. The screen is high resolution.
It sounded like everything we wanted.
Yeah, and then we got it. It's this is kind of slow, kind of really slow.
They're bugs.
Well, hey, the whole reason we're talking about the Nexus 9, of course, is because it just unceremoniously got drumped. Drumped? I don't even know.
It's a combination of.
I'll
That's
take
like
it.
where you get rid of it and build a wall
from
around
the
it.
Play Store.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's gone now. You
It's
cannot
gone.
buy it from Google now, which is okay. If you were still buying it from Google, there was something wrong with you because it was way expensive.
Just buy the Pixel C. It's a great device, and it looks great, and it works way
Yeah,
better than
you know,
Nexus
I think
9.
with that developer discount code they were giving to anybody, developer or not, the Pixel C was cheaper than the Nexus 9.
Well, here's the thing. All you have to do is tap on the build number 7 times, and you are a developer. So
Yeah.
there you go. There's your discount.
There it is.
Oh.
Yeah, but I mean, HTC has been trying to give these away at steep discounts with its weekly deals thing for a while, and I think probably they're not selling.
Yeah.
But I mean, if
Well,
you,
they're definitely not selling on the Google Store.
I mean,
Because-
I guess if you keep an eye out, I bet you'll probably see a cache of these on one of those daily deal sites for super cheap. If you just like
I'm sure.
if you just
Yes.
need a tablet for something. I mean, it's
You know,
not. It's
daily
not.
deal site on a corner of some shady street.
Yes.
Hey, buddy,
Get a
buy a
pound of Nexus
tablet?
9.
It's gonna
Would
end
you like
up
to,
on
would you like to buy a
Meta.com.
pallet of tablets? I have a whole pallet of these. No,
They
look,
fell
it's
off
not,
a truck, actually.
It's not like a terrible device with Marshmallow, but it is not fast enough that I would want to use it on a daily basis.
It's not terrible.
Yeah, it's not as terrible as it was when it came out, but I would still much rather use a Pixel C. I would spend the extra money on a Pixel C rather than get a cheap Nexus 9.
Yes.
No doubt.
Whoa,
Pixel
David
C.
said yes, and it related to calling the Pixel
Oh
C
yeah, I
tyrants.
would
I knew
actually.
it.
I mean, if you're
actually
going
like
to make
to-
that
I knew.
poor decision,
I think
Deep down,
it's,
deep down,
it's,
David loves the Pixel C
We-
just
we
like
need
I
to
it's
do.
a less poor decision.
We
to
need to
make.
just point out to David that the Pixel C is
I
fantastic and we
use
enjoy them
my
very much.
iPad Air 2 every day, and I love it so much. It's so great. It's such a wonderful, revolutionary
You know, I'm probably sounding really cynical this episode, but I started writing a retrospective of the Pixel C, like about how like it has gotten better over time. But it just turned into a post about like what are tablets for? I can't figure out what they're really for.
Tablets are for embiggening your smartphone experience.
Yeah, I mean I've owned iPads and the Nexus 9 obviously, and the Pixel C, and sure, like they're great, but I don't know. Anyways, tangent.
I find most of my tablet, benefit is that it's unlikely the tablet's battery will die as I hold it in bed reading a book or watching a movie.
But you might
True.
drop it on your face.
I charge
might.
my phone at night though, so my phone will
Yeah.
not die.
The drawback of the Pixel C is that it is made entirely of aluminum. If you drop it on your face, you're going to be in for a world of hurt.
Oh, hey, so fun Pixel C fact. Actually, I was I was social media interacting with Benson Lung on one of his threads. Did you know the Pixel C will charge at 24 watts if you put a high-power charger connect high
I
power?
did not.
So what does it come with?
Where do I get this charger?
Huh?
15 watts.
Oh, so it'll.
9
No,
watts.
wait, hold
It
on.
will
Wait,
charge
20
considerably faster.
I think
or maybe
I'm
it's
pretty sure that Motorola's newer fast chargers are 25 watt
it
too.
won't work with those.
Right,
Oh my
because
God.
it's USB power delivery spec, I guess, instead of quick.
It's weird, but you can buy an Anker, the USB power, they're 45 watt brick, and plug the Pixel C into it, and it'll charge at 24 watts.
I mean, I guess. Why didn't they just include something like that with the
Because
tablet?
it'd be more expensive.
Whatever. It's already a $500 Android tablet. You're not gonna upset that many
I'm
potential
learning
buyers.
so much about USB power delivery and C from talking to Benson on his posts, and it's a little more complicated than I thought it was, and it's annoying. So I'm gonna do a post about it eventually. Probably.
Once you figure it out.
Yeah, once I figure it out. I'm still not there.
In a few years.
Yeah, when everything's already figured out anyway.
Hey, speaking of USB power delivery, this is a good segue. Thanks, David. So we've got rumors coming around about the USB 3 Type-C USB port coming up on Samsung devices, which is of course totally different when the Nexus 7 was about to be announced, and the rumors were that they would have USB Type-C with 3.0 power delivery. So I don't know. Anyways, the rumor is Note 6 will have a Type-C USB port, and we believe it because
Sam Mobile said it, and it sounds plausible this time. So Wall Street Journal and Sam Mobile both said last year, Galaxy S7 gonna have USB-C, done deal. And they both said it. There wasn't oh it might. It's like it is. And so it sounds like they're probably testing it with the S7, and at some point they're like, logic. And but the new rumor says we'll finally see USB-C on a Samsung device with the Note 6. It's possible to see it on budget phones before that, I guess. But they say that the Note 6 will have USB Type-C. The reason I think this makes more sense is that the Note obviously does not sell nearly as well as the Galaxy S line of phones. It appeals to a more enthusiast kind of niche buyer set. I wouldn't say niche, but enthusiast. People who like smartphones and who like new, advanced, powerful technology. So they'll be like, oh, a new port. Like, I don't care about buying new cables or anything. It's a new port. It's the better port. So it makes sense that they would start there. And after HTC and LG and Google and some Chinese OEMs have moved to USB-C, so they can be like, well, everybody else is using a standard, so it only makes sense. So that's why I believe it. That's pretty much the story.
The Note was the one that had the funky Type B connector, right?
And the Galaxy S5 had it as well.
Yeah, S5 had it.
Okay. Yeah. The S5 though, it was backwards compatible if you just used some of the pins.
Yeah, you could use the standard micro connection on them too. It was just they came with the larger connection.
So actually, the standard micro connection didn't alter charging at all because they didn't use the pins on the extra side for charging. It was just for data transfer speeds, which made no sense.
Which is something nobody really.
That's great.
Needs. You know what the thing about Samsung changing the port, that also means they will have to release a new version of the Gear VR.
Yeah, I mean, if they do, they might say, you know what, we're not going to do a Gear VR until next year again, and maybe they'll wait to do that. Hard to say.
I'm just wondering, I'm just looking forward to see if they've made any superfluous changes to the USB-C port.
I'm guessing it will probably still use Samsung's not Qualcomm quick charging technology.
Awesome.
It's not Qualcomm quick charge, but it might work with quick charge phones, but it might not.
How did we get here in this situation?
I
don't know. All right, switching directions a little bit, we have some rumors coming up about an Uncarrier 11 coming soon. Uncarrier 11 with the gimmickiest of all gimmicks, potentially T-Mobile Tuesdays, which is a lot like Taco Tuesday, except for T-Mobile people.
Yeah,
and
instead of tacos, they'll give you pizzas.
They give you pizzas.
Yeah, there's Uncarrier 11. Apparently, according to EV Leaks, they're going to release an app called T-Mobile Tuesdays that gives you free stuff, like pizzas and movie rentals and things of that nature, every Tuesday, apparently, because T-Mobile Tuesdays. And then there will also be raffles for bigger stuff, like gift cards and trips to events and whatnot. And then, much more interesting than this app is T-Mobile is going to give subscribers shares in the company, but not a lot of them. 1/4 of a share for every line you have. So not very much. And the shares right now are worth $40. So
it's $10, man.
Yeah.
$10, and let's see what T-Mobile's 1-year performance is. Essentially, no movement. So their 5-year performance looks a little better.
Yeah, this is going to be a very rah, look at how cool we are thing, with very little impact for subscribers.
I feel like this is only a move so they could say our customers own us, or make something we are our customers, or
Oh yeah, there's gonna be a press release in a few months. Look, however many thousands of shares of T-Mobile are owned by customers, but when you average it out, it's gonna be like 0.
What is? I'm not sure how many shares they actually have, but I'm guessing you have to actually go in and claim the shares, and I'm guessing.
Oh yeah, you have to actually tell them that you want the shares. You have 2.
I'm sure you do.
Apparently, according to the leak, I should point out, you have 2 weeks after they announce this to say yes, I would like my 1/4 share of T-Mobile.
And what happens when you cancel your plan? Do you have to give your share back?
They're just loaning you the share so you can look at it.
Oh man, yeah, that'll be interesting. I guess T-Mobile will do anything to get a little bit of press. And I swear to God, if we post that T-Mobile's giving away a free Domino's pizza,
Yeah. I heard that John Laguerre is going to breathe fire at the next Uncarrier event.
the picture of him we used for our article is scary too.
Yeah, I know.
It's a little bit frightening.
All right, now I have to pull that up. Thank you.
Like
It
he
is
looks
the
like he's holding
frightening
a voodoo doll and he's about to
Yes.
put a curse on everybody.
Yes, it looks like a John Laguerre Chucky doll or something.
Matt, I'm gonna throw you a curveball here and delete the story we're gonna go to next.
Okay. I don't even remember what it was. It's already gone. I switched
because it
tabs.
wasn't very good. It was a terrible story.
It was a terrible story. I'm sure it was. Hey, so what about fingerprint scanners? All right, so you know what? LG had an announcement this week. Apparently, they developed technology that allows you to put a fingerprint scanner under glass. Of course, everybody and their mother was reporting it as working underneath displays, so you could just put your finger on the display to unlock it. But that's not how it works. Glass being under. Let's be clear. Being under glass and being under the display are two entirely different things.
Yes, they did not announce that they figured out how to integrate fingerprint scanning technology with like the LCD matrix. That's not a thing yet, as far as we know. But they could put it in the bezel of the phone, I guess.
Yeah, and that's really all it is. The idea is that you can have a phone with a fingerprint scanner that is either under the bezel on the front of the phone or just under glass on the back of the phone. You know, people have said a couple of things kind of refuting that, well, you know, maybe what you would do here is like you put a texture on the glass, or you would put a little bit of paint, or you'd put it, you know, over a logo. All right, this seems like the worst of all worlds for user experience. Let me try to figure out where the hell to line up my finger.
I mean, it would have to be on like an entire section of the phone. You couldn't just put it under like a tiny bit of the bezel.
Yeah, but I'm guessing the cost of the scanner element increases
that would probably
quite substantially.
Well, even if you put it under the entire like bottom bezel, for instance, it's still a really bad user experience because there's no indication of what you're supposed to do. So the user doesn't know if they're actually doing anything until the phone does something.
Yeah, it's just a bad idea. I'm sorry, it is. It sounds cool. It's one of those things. It's like, oh, it's a cool technical achievement, but the user experience piece here is bad. You know, especially if you're gonna put it on the back. The indentation is the entire reason the back implementation works. So, you know, kudos to LG for the technical achievement, but I hope to God their next phone doesn't use this.
Oh, David. You've just made them think maybe they should.
The LG V11. It's awful. Oh boy.
All right, so we're gonna move on to we got a couple antiques that were sent in this week by Faisal. I think I said that right. There was you know what? I'm a failure as a person because he actually sent in a link to a video to tell me how to properly pronounce his name. For the show, because apparently I always say I'm probably going to pronounce this wrong, or I just do. But Faisal, I believe, is how it was pronounced. I watched the video. I swear to God, but it was like 3 hours ago. So has sent in a couple pictures of some devices. So we're gonna do that thing where I show them to you and we talk about them.
So this is the G2, aka.
I think his version of it is the Desire Z, but it is the same. It is the same hardware. It was the T-Mobile G2, and man, that phone had a good keyboard. If that's a thing that you want in a phone, I used it for a number of months as my main phone many moons ago.
You know, it's funny because I feel like I remember people saying bad things about this phone almost exclusively.
Oh, it definitely had problems. It would do this thing where, so like the hinge, he has a picture like way over on the right of how the hinge pops out of the phone. It's just you could hold the phone upside down and the screen would just sort of hang off and like rock back and forth like a swing. So like it didn't feel like super sturdy, but like when you were holding it normally, it had like this really cool snapping motion when you opened it, and and the keys were clicky and nicely separated, and but this was back when on-screen keyboards were not good things to use. So that was that was worth having at the time, I suppose. And it had a little back when trackpads were a thing. Instead of tapping around on the screen, you just move the cursor around with the trackpad. Like, it was a neat phone for the time. But like, I mean, at least the US version fell behind on software updates very, very quickly, even though it was mostly stock. I don't know. I'm sure the Sense version, the Desire Z one, was pretty bad too.
Oh, so the T-Mobile version had a more stock Android experience?
Yeah, it was almost completely stock.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, I mean it still did have like modifications, like kind of pointless ones. But yeah, it was I think it launched with like Froyo, I think it launched with Froyo, and it was eventually upgraded to Gingerbread, and that was like the end of it. So yeah, that's that was a very strange time for Android phones.
Speaking of phones with hardware keyboards and trackballs, I think that they redid the Sidekick too soon. I want them to redo that one now, and I would totally buy it.
All right, so the other phone that he sent in was the...
Well, I don't know if that's eligible. I don't think that's actually its picture.
Yeah, it's not. It's just a picture of a phone he had. But it's not his phone.
Not his phone.
If somebody actually has that phone, just send in a picture of it. I always kind of liked that phone.
I believe. Okay, we actually have one more antique. It's an emergency antique. Oh wait, Francois already sent it in once. I just didn't notice it. Oh, so I remember seeing the original email. I'm sorry, Francois. I missed. Oh my God. He sent in the Arcos 5 Internet tablet.
Oh my goodness.
The Internet tablet.
2009. It ran Android 1.5. Later upgrade to 1.6. TI OMAP 3440 processor at 800 megahertz.
Stock though.
256 megabytes of RAM.
What is this? What is this insane media dock thing?
Hold on, let me try to pull up this thing. It doesn't show my current Hangouts messages. I can't really do it. Oh wait, save to drive. That's not going to really help very much. I don't think this thing actually works. He does have this dock thing though that Ryan was talking about that is absolutely ridiculous.
Sorry, we need to put this up on the screen. It's really good.
I don't have this, David. If you could pull it up on the screen, that'd be fantastic.
I can try to. Okay, wait, I got it. There we go. So that is it in the box, and let me see if I can. I'm gonna have to stop screen sharing for just a moment there. Let's see. Okay, there's the other one with the dock, which is just completely insane.
Like, why? Why? Why would anybody do this? I'm impressed it has an HDMI though. That was very.
It's like hard to reconcile a device that has 256 megabytes of RAM and an HDMI port.
So this thing had a 5-inch screen, 5-inch 800 by 480, and look how gigantic it is. Look at those bezels.
It is almost Del Streak-esque.
It probably has a very similar form.
I was going to say it's pretty much the same thing. Oh my goodness.
Man, this thing is ridiculous.
It looks like a Game Gear.
So what else we have here? So it is a resistive touchscreen.
Oh my God.
Is that
gross.
Is that a kickstand on the back? That's pretty great.
Oh yes, that's a kickstand.
Nice.
Oh yes. So let's see what else. The HDD that was included had a 500 gigabyte hard drive in it.
Oh, is that a little spinning drive?
But it could only be used for media storage.
Oh yeah, Android would not have been able to run that. But I bet you could. I bet you could feel the torque of that drive when it spun up.
Could. Oh man, that's great. So what else we have? Could play 720p videos, and go to full HD when you plug it into the dock, you had extra batteries for other modules. Hey, does that ring a bell to anybody? 7 years
Friends?
later?
You mean Friends?
Yeah. I had a GoPro-style action camera and terrestrial HD TV to go with an antenna. There were modules. Wow. It did not come with the Android market.
Wow. Oh yeah, that was a very sketchy Arcos thing for a while.
Scuttlefield said plus a 5.25 floppy.
Oh man, that was too good. So I think that concludes our antiques. We got a couple of home screens to.
Yes, the first one. I think is it the first one we have issues with, or is it the second one?
It's the first one.
The first one is Mark.
The first one.
Mark.
Yes. Mark.
Okay. I get that you think this is very clever, that it's in a big arrow and they're all arrows, but give me a break. You're not actually using all those.
Now, Mark specifically said in his email that he does use all of these, so obviously that means that he buys.
I don't want to call him a liar, but I think he's lying to me.
Well, I think
that means that he just buys a ton of devices from the Google Store, just constantly buying devices.
What all are you doing on the Google Store?
Who opens Play Games that much? The Play Games app? Why are you opening that?
No,
maybe he's really into leaderboards.
Yeah, totally.
I don't know. Look, I guess if you really like the arrow play icon things, then okay.
I want to know why it's in landscape.
Yeah, this must look like a disaster when you rotate the phone, right?
It has to.
I don't know. It's weird that he didn't send in one in portrait mode. Maybe he sent this one in because it looks a lot better.
Maybe. Well, maybe he just doesn't use portrait mode.
He always holds his phone sideways.
Yeah, I mean, why not?
Android Pay in the favorites bar, huh? Interesting.
I mean,
That
guess
is interesting. Where's your browser, sir?
Oh my God. Yes.
Where is it? And the camera.
Yeah, there are a lot of things. There are a lot of things wrong here.
Oh, I get it. So the arrow icons are the ones on the edges, and so he can't have a circular icon. Google Store is almost definitely supposed to be Chrome. Don't kid us, Mark.
Okay, wait. And I know this is a thing on a lot of phones, but he's got the contacts and the phone icon there. Really?
They're the same.
Yeah, why would you, how often do you need to open the dedicated contacts app? I can't remember the last time I did that.
Oh, every day.
Okay, so Mark, if you want to send us a detailed justification for why you lied to us like this for next week, feel free.
All right. So our do we want to rate it? Is there a rating system that you guys want to invent for this one?
I'm gonna rate it 7 Illuminatis out of 10.
Wow, that's a pretty good rating. I'll go with 5 arrow icons out of 10.
I was gonna go with 3 chevrons out of 10.
Huh?
That was gonna be mine.
Okay.
Damn it.
I will rate it 1 completely unnecessary Android Pay icon out of 20.
Ooh, yikes.
Yeah, it's funny. I immediately go towards the Google Store as being the most unnecessary thing, but you're right though, because Pay, when you need it, it just comes up. It just opens. You don't need it.
I mean, it's
maybe he signs up for a lot of credit cards and he's just all the time adding them to Pay.
Or I don't know. I mean,
well, he has to in order to rotate the balances on him to buy all the
maybe he's got 30 loyalty cards that he needs to whip out all the time.
That's what it is. He needs to rotate them out so he can keep buying stuff from the Google Store. His cases really add up,
Yes.
All right. So our next one comes from Joel. Let me pull this one up here. Here's Joel's very materialistic.
I think that's one of the HTC 10 wallpapers, or at least based on it.
Maybe not. I don't recall that one being on the 10, but I could be wrong.
It's nice.
So Joel has a thing for widgets, massive widgets.
That's true.
Yes.
Yeah, at least one of them is listening to the AP podcast.
Yes, Edward Stylus Fingers, of course. Classic.
I bet he's using Nova because one of the widgets is full width.
Yeah.
Almost full height.
Yes, that's one of the HTC 10 wallpapers.
It is.
Tuesday.
Okay, so the maps icon without the G is very uncomfortable for me. I'm not enjoying that too much.
I feel lost.
I do.
Yeah. So wait,
Where do I go?
So did he say what icon pack he's using? It's very.
The shadow's going the wrong way on the maps icon.
Also, the
weird.
Google Photos icon is completely unnecessary. Why does it have to be a Polaroid? You're
A Polaroid picture of a pinwheel.
Yeah. I mean,
You
I don't hate these icons, but I think some of them are probably.
I'm not gonna lie. I kind of seriously dislike the Photos icon, especially the inbox icon. I don't care for.
Oh yeah, the inbox icon is just changed to be changed. Like, there's no reason it should look that way.
I don't
Very
like
detailed.
I don't like the play music thing. It looks a
Yeah.
little bit too much like real headphones.
Stylistically, it doesn't fit in with the rest of them.
Yeah. I'm also the font on Tuesday there. That's not really a thing I'm into.
Yeah.
You have to read it in a certain way. You have to read it like
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
But I mean, look, it's not a bad home screen. He makes, he's got the big widgets, but at least, he's using presumably for things that he likes.
He's not like
Android
overdoing
Police
it.
podcast.
You know? Yeah, that's a good thing to
Overall-
like. You should like that.
This doesn't quite have the obnoxious level of kind of that thing I described, the rain meter feel, where the home screen looks one way, but every other app just looks like potato. comparatively.
I'm gonna give him a little bit of credit because he is using the Score app instead of ESPN, which is a wise choice in my opinion.
Yes, that's a sports ball thing of some sort, I guess.
It is. It is.
Look how shiny it is, you guys.
It is very shiny. That
So-
shine
Mossy.
extends at least like 1/3 of the width of the widget, or the height of the widget.
That's a good 24 dp of shine that you've got there.
I will give this widget 4 out of 6 materials.
Give it 3 out of 5 doc pages.
I will give it 3 out of 10 Tuesdays.
Ooh, I will.
That's a low rating.
I will go with 4.5 out of 7 1/4 giant widgets.
But this is
Okay.
this is where the points mean nothing and the rules are made up, right? I mean.
Yeah, but
No,
he,
this is important. This
he won though
will have,
compared to the other guys. So
Oh well, I didn't know if it was important. I probably would have given it a 7 out of 10.
at the end of the home screen segment.
Oh, that's
something
true. We can say who
will
won.
happen.
I'm Joel. You won. Mark,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
Joel won for sure.
Only
Only because I'm like
Mark, who lied to us about his icons.
Yeah, only because I'm super incredulous of Mark's home
I'm
screen.
gonna need. Okay, Mark. We will give you the title if you show us a regular record of Google Store receipts.
We're gonna need like a 3-day long video screencast of you using your phone.
Yeah, and if you're just diving into the app drawer all the time, then we're gonna just call bullshit on that.
Yep.
Well, that's going to about do it for this week's show. If you have any home screens, any questions, any comments, any concerns, well, no concerns. Don't send us concerns. Or any antiques, you can send them to us at podcast@androidpolice.com, or you can call us at 530-HELLO-AP. That is 530-435-5627. Make sure you call us with your home screens. I don't know how that works, but do it. And you can also find us on Twitter at Android Police and on Google Plus and Facebook. So. And app.net.
Yes. So do we have a fax number too? It's about as useful as app.net. If you want to fax us your home screens.
Dude, that's a perfect idea. I love that.
Please do. I would love that actually. Can a phone go through a fax machine?
We don't actually have a fax number, but if you could actually fax your home screen to somebody and then send us a photo of the fax.
Maybe like scan
Call
it.
us with a photo of the fax.
No, make a photocopy, scan it to someone, get them to take a photo of that, paste it in a Word doc, save it as a PDF, take a screenshot, make that into a PDF, then upload it to Drive, and then email us a link to that.
And then we will all take a Rorschach test based upon what you're provided.
If somebody actually does that, or anything approaching that, I would be very impressed.
You'll automatically get 4 out of 5 toner cartridges. Just
Oh, if you have a fully black and white home screen, I would like to see that.
Oh, I'm
good.
sure somebody listening does.
Oh, that's easy. Wait, I can do that right now.
Stop.
But it's so quick. You just have to put your phone into black and white mode.
That's cheating. Doesn't require any icon packs or forethought.
Oh, I'm still working, by the way, everybody, just to do a promo on the literally just colored circles icon pack. So keep an eye out for that.
Hey, I'll buy that.
It's hard selecting the right colors for your circles.
They're random.
I'll use it until I get frustrated.
Which will be immediately.
I mean,
there are no
I feel like there are a lot of people who put up with frustrating home screens. We've seen many of them on this show, in fact.
We have.
Wait, can I? Wait, oh my god. Cody said I would totally consider black and white. Can I just like make an icon pack that's everybody's existing icons, but like in black and white?
I'm gonna guess that is not considered a transformative set for the purpose.
Is that legal?
Just for the sake of clarity, Liam, are we referring to actual black and white, or are we referring to grayscale?
I think grayscale.
See,
I want to see. Would be cool.
I want to see just true black and white. That's what I want to see.
I mean,
okay, I would allow grayscale for shadows. That's it.
Maybe. I'm thinking like a really like crappy printer who like isn't doing its job right.
A dot matrix icon pack.
Yeah,
I bet. Oh man, I'm gonna search for that in the Play Store. I bet it's there.
I bet
that would get
is.
featured.
And the Google Play Developer Award goes to
Dot matrix icon pack. I just print out a sheet of paper and like crop the icons.
Did we already do our outro?
Yes, we did.
You're gonna at some point in time have to figure out which point in this conversation you're gonna cut the end of the show off at, and I don't envy that.
It's gonna be the point after this statement.
I already stopped recording, so it doesn't matter.
None of that gold was captured. These are good ideas.
It'll live forever on that YouTube channel that nobody goes to.
It will.
I'm so sad about that. We should promote that.
Well,
you guys, we have a new YouTube channel. Go to it.
I'm gonna go. My dog is making grumbly noises at me.
All right.
I think he wants to go outside.
All right.
All right.
All right.
I'll see
Peace
you
out,
guys next
gents.
week.
See ya.
See ya.
Okay, bye everyone.